There, Flosstube. Welcome to my channel. This is Wendy's Whimsical Stitches, and as you may have guessed, I am Wendy. Today is Monday, December 30th, 2024. We are rounding out the year, so I thought I would just get on here real quick, even though my last Flosstube was at the beginning of this month. I just want to put one more video out there that showed what I was able to accomplish this month, which wasn't a lot, so this should be fairly short. I hope that you and your loved ones had a very Merry Christmas and that it was peaceful and joyous and all the things that Christmas is supposed to be. And I know that's not for it happens for everyone. There's the holiday blues that I think probably all of us have had from one year to another, so I do hope that it was an uplifting day for you. And I have my youngest playing a video game in the family room, and my Great Dane over here is trying to see what's going on outside, even though I shut the window, so I hope that the mic doesn't pick up on either one of those things. But I will give like a longer life update at the end of this because it involves what we've decided for my daughter's treatment for right now. She's having some autoimmune issues. If you are a previous viewer, which I thank you for coming back. Anyway, I will touch on that at the end, but the reason I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done this month was it was a busy month, of course, but I had a surprise visitor from back home in Alaska, actually visitors. It was my friend and her husband. I've known them 20 years in 2025. I met her at work in 2005. And she retired 10 years later, and we've kept in touch. We are really good friends, and she wanted to tour the southern states. Her and her husband have never toured down in this area, so anyways, they drove all the way down here, and they were using our home as kind of a home base for 3 weeks, so they were back and forth, and we had really good visits with them. What else? We had the Jingle Ball this month. If you went, I hope it was a great experience for you. Kodiak. I was late. I had to take my daughter to work that day, and I got home a little late for the class, which I was taking the class with Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower, and I'll show you my stitching, but I was able to watch the rest of it, but I wasn't able to get back into the activities. I was decorating all that weekend. That not having that extra week after Thanksgiving really threw me off. So anyhow, I missed out on Jingle Ball this year pretty much, so there's always next year, right? What else? We had a few doctor visits for my daughter, of course, and then the Great Dane, he has his head in my lap trying to be a baby. He had some skin issues going on this summer, and I had taken him to the vet that we've used for all of our animals, and he said that it was basically something he was reacting to out in our yard, like a mold, and we would just have to wait until temperatures cooled down for that mold, fungus, whatever is out there he was reacting to die off. So he gave him a steroid shot and said it should get better and sent us on our way. Well, it didn't get better. It wasn't really severely getting worse, but he has kept having some spots come up on his belly where the hair was missing, and he wasn't itching or licking it, but I decided to take him to new vet after some local people were making some comments on Facebook about that other vet's office being really expensive and misdiagnosing. So this new vet said, that other vet didn't send home any medication with you? I said, no. And he said, that's a staph infection. And he said, yeah, it's very common down here. I'm in southern Mississippi, by the way. But he gave him a penicillin shot there at the office, a steroid shot. He sent us home with 10 days of antibiotics and steroids, and also a shampoo. So I've been giving big guy here a shower twice a week for the last 2 weeks, and that's been fun, but I think he's gotten used to it. He actually came into the shower today when I was in there and seemed like he was wanting to head in. But yeah, healthcare for humans and animals here in the, I don't know if it's just in the South or at least right here in this area, is pretty frustrating to, I don't know, get treated, get diagnosed correctly. I'm going on a little rant today, and I don't know why, but my husband's grandmother was in the hospital before Thanksgiving, and she was having stroke-like symptoms. They were doing urinalysis on her, but they, I guess, couldn't find anything wrong with them. Oh, she had a UTI, and for anyone that knows, elderly and UTIs really mess up the elderly. Once she was given treatment for that, she recovered quite quickly. And after 3 weeks, she made it home right before Christmas. Anyhow, our Christmas was great. We spent Christmas Eve like we do every year with the in-laws. It was my mother-in-law and husband's grandmother over at their house. Well, it's grandma's house. We have dinner and we have presents. I lost my train of thought. We have a casual dinner and then we open our gifts to each other over there. And then Christmas morning, we have just our immediate family. We open our gifts Christmas morning. I have breakfast, and then this year I hosted Christmas dinner, so we cooked all day. And then my mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law came back over for dinner. Okay, can you imagine like what I have to say about my daughter's healthcare? Anyhow, needless to say, with all of that, I just didn't get a lot of stitching done. So I was able to make one start and fully finished it. I had 2 starts and finishes, which were small, and then I still have a work in progress. And then I have a wool and a sewing quilting finish. So let me show you my start and full finish. It's stitching with the Housewives Saying of the Season through Fat Quarter Shop. This is their quarterly club for 2024. This is Walking in a Winter Wonderland. This is stitched on 28 count black Monaco with all of the charted floss. And then all of these florals came from Joanne. I really wanted the cardinals in there to pick up the few cardinals that were in the design, and I saw those snowmen and I thought, well, those look cute. I hope they fit. I didn't have the design stitched yet, so when I got it all completed, I was able just to tuck the snowmen in there, and I think it's probably one of my favorite finishes. Oh, you can't see. Anyhow, there's closer cross stitch. And I think I've talked about this box in the past. Priscilla had mounted hers on a metal piece from Hobby Lobby. And I had this, it's like a planter box. My mother-in-law gave me a few Christmases ago. But it came from Mary and Martha. And I decided to keep this side as it is. So if I want to take out any of these decorations, I can still use it while the magnets are over on this side. All right, so there's my one fully finish or full finish. Student Kodiak, right on the way. I did the bluebirds for the Prairie Schooler Prairie Birds this month. And I will talk about the next one when I talk about my January plans. And I'm stitching this. This is a crazy hamster. I think it's a Murano. And then another start and finish was the Little Sheep Virtues by Little House Needleworks. Did the Joyfulness block. And since I have finished all of these small blocks of the series, I need to just finish the buttons. I'm going to put those on today. The other buttons from Just Another Button Company. And I guess I can just, well, no, I'll wait. And then my work in progress, I didn't get a whole lot done, was the piece for the Jingle Ball class, which is Festive Forest by the Blue Flower. That is what the whole design looks like unfinished, and there's the full finish. They're calling this a muffin at the class, but I have a lot of work to do still on this. Okay, so for January plans, since I have this in my lap, I'm going to be stitching, why can't I think? It's Cottage. Here we go. Country Cottage Needleworks. This is Sheep in the Meadows, and it's a tiny little picture. I'm going to be changing some colors, like the house. I'm going to use the same blue that was used in some of these designs. This flower here was stitched in 924, and I think I'm going to be stitching the house on this in 924. Anyways, for January, I'm going to be stitching that in here. I don't know if I'm going to be stitching all of it because I want to get some other things done. But it's going to be one that I will be working on. As much as I would like to work on that Festive Forest in January, I don't think that will happen. The Prairie Schooler Prairie Birds, which I know Instagram is not being friendly with hashtags anymore, but it was hashtag TPS Prairie Bird SAL. But the next one of these that I'll be stitching would be the robin. I should have had this out and ready to show. Robin, which would be this one right here. And then after I have that one done, how many of these want to do? I'll have 3 left. And then I did not get my the Stoney Creek flowers even started, but I'm going to try to get January and February's done in January. Let's see about that. Here is February's. I'm going to be doing a version of Whip Go that I'll explain more in. I'm going to do a video. I think I'm going to make a Whip Parade and 2025 plan combined video, and I'll explain what I'm doing for Whip Go a little more. I'm still following the numbers, but I put all new starts on them. And number 11 was called, which for me is The Price of Freedom by the Sweetheart Tree. It's a tiny, tiny picture. There's some beads on here. And it's a very small chart. The stitch count. I was able to get the chart, which came with these little star charms. Looks like they have holes in the sides. I was able to get this from Stoney Creek. Count is 47 by 130, so it's small. Anyhow, be stitched on the 12-4, which is, looks more tan. It has a kind of a greenish tint to it, and it's called Clay / Barn Gray. It's definitely not as gray as my sweatshirt I'm wearing, but in real life it looks more green to me, kind of like a moss green almost. I don't want these to get lost. Stick the info back in here real quick. So that was number 11, Whip Go Call. And then the number 20 Whip Go Call was Snowy Tiny Town. By Heart and Hand. And I'm going to be doing the frill. I'm just adding the frill in to the row here. And I plan to make this into a drum. I've never had a drum finish. I think that will be fun. And I'm going to be stitching this on, this is 32 count fabric flare snow on gray. I don't know if this is still available. I know they have snow on blue, but I've had this for a while. I thought I would put it to use. And then I'm going to be stitching some of the Primrose Quaker pillows that Autumn, the Yellow Rose Stitcher, she's doing a stitch along that's for all of the pillows, and I only have a few, but January 1st I'm going to be stitching the Valentine one with the called for. I've got the blush, I think that's a Lugana, and the Bright Melon Classic Colorworks. It's a light pink, but it's more pink in person than it is on screen. It is pretty. Her hashtag that Yellow Rose Stitcher is using is hashtag Primrose Quaker SAL. So I don't know if I'll get all that done on the first. I haven't really 80 by 80. That might take me 2 days, depending if I get interrupted with anything else. Let me check my notes and see if there's anything else that I have planned on in January. Oh, I need to talk about my wool blocks. Always in Stitches, they sent out December's Birdie block. I think I just got it last week. Anyway, so I will be working on December's Birdie block, and when they send out January's, probably be working on that as well in January. And these are my last two. I was able to get my pieces cut out for the December block. Oh, that's really dark. I have a light on over here. There we go. The camera on the laptop just has to adjust. Anyhow, I need to whip stitch those pieces down and do all the embroidery. Let me show you a picture. And then I have to do the quilting too, of course. There's the finished block. And then January, similar colors. Of course, it's winter, but it has a snowman. Okay. And then my last project that I completed for December was the Star of Wonder ornaments from Shabby Fabrics. And there's 8 of them, so I'm not going to be able to hold them all up together. I'll show you the ones that they sent out in December, which were the last ones. There we go. It's the Holy Family. Here's baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph. So in the family room, which is behind this wall, that's where I have all the nativity stuff, all the nativity decorations. I have a tree that has more of the nativity because the big one in here is the gingerbread. Anyhow, these were previous. That was the shepherd. This was the first one, the angel. And these are in the templates in a book, the Star of Wonder quilt series, maybe. There's a quilt panel. It's by Nancy Halverson from Art to Heart, and there's a whole line of fabric. They're so cute. Shabby Fabrics had all of these laser cut out, and the fusible was all, laser cut. The appliques were all laser cut already. We just had to sew them on, and then of course sew ornaments together, add the embellishments and all. Anyhow, those were fun. All right, let me look at my notes. Went through January plans. So keep an eye out for my 2025, my hair is really driving me nuts, 2025 plan and Whip Parade video. I don't keep track of too many stats, but for 2024, I was able to start 57 projects and I finished 61. And for finishes, I'm not talking about full finishes, but like each one of the prairie birds, I counted as a design start and finish. And the same with the little sheep virtues, each one of those I counted as a start and a finish, even though I put it all on one piece. And the prairie birds I will make into individual pillows. Okay, I had a giveaway. The keyword to use was bicycle, and it was for the Let's Go Ride a Bike Sweetheart Street. And the lucky winner is Hannah, Ladybug Stitches. I have your address, so I will send this to you. There are only 4 entries, and you were the lucky winner. Your name happens to get called a number of times. Not that I've had a lot of giveaways, but if you guys haven't checked out Ladybug Stitches, please give her channel an opportunity to spark your creativity. Hannah takes a lot of found objects that she has and does finishing. So let's do a giveaway, since I have a chart that by the time I pull a winner, it will be a great time to start it for spring. This was a cotton and twine subscription, and this was from March 2023. It's the spring chart, and I'm including the frame. The frame is 8 by 8, so I mean, this would not take very long to stitch. It's not all filled in. It comes with the white Ada also and the floss, and I believe there's a needle in here even. Yes. So there we go. And that Ada looks like it might be an 18 count. So for the, if you would like to win this, please be over 18 years old, be a U.S. resident, and use the keyword spring. I was going to see if this says what size. Yeah, 16 count white Ada. If I can think of a question real quick. Do you have New Year's plans, or if you're watching this after New Year's Eve, what does your family usually do? We typically don't do any fireworks because we have the dogs and they do not like them. We have neighbors that shoot them off, and one or two of my kids usually go over to the neighbor's house and they shoot them off over there, but we don't because of the dogs. And we just usually spend a quiet night at home. We're boring. But our county, our closest town, doesn't have any fireworks for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So what happens in your neck of the woods? Please let me know. Even when we lived in Anchorage, we really didn't. Once we became parents, we didn't, go out and do a lot of crazy celebrating. So, anyhow, I'm going to end this portion of my video with just saying Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me. If you don't want to stay and listen to me talk about what's going on with my daughter, but thank you so much, and we will see you again. Oh, and one last thing about the entry for the spring chart. Please have your entries in by the 25th, and we'll just say 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, bye. And for those that stayed, my daughter was seen with a follow-up visit to the rheumatologist after her test came back and imaging was done on her joints. Because none of her tests were definitive to him, he said that he would just diagnose her with juvenile idiopathic polyarthritis, which is what they used to call juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Polyarthritis because it affects more than one joint. The day that we were in his office, she described her pain as about an 8 out of 1 out of 10. And he said that he would give her methotrexate for basically pain relief. Methotrexate is a form of chemotherapy. He said that he would prescribe folic acid to counter the side effects, which could be mouth sores, hair loss, and all the unpleasant things that chemo does to a person. I say we think about it, knowing fully well that we would not give a healthy 15-year-old chemo. There are so many long-lasting side effects. Various other cancers could pop up, heart problems, other organ problems, osteoporosis, mental fog. No, we're not going to have her start taking chemo when she does not have cancer, obviously. I was able to get her into a naturopath. I've never seen a naturopath, but you know what? I was raised by a scientist. My father is a microbiologist, and he worked in public health for his entire career as a microbiologist. In fact, he worked for CDC in Atlanta for a while. I was about 4 years old when we lived there, and the only reason that he didn't continue working there was because he hated the weather in the South, and that's how we ended up in Alaska. But anyway, I was raised with the belief that chiropractors and naturopaths, homeopaths were all quacks. And it wasn't until, I don't know, I think my daughter was probably about 3-4 years old where I really started leaning towards more natural medicines and natural living. A lot of the baby products we use were sorry, can't think with a big dog in my lap. They were natural, so they weren't hormone. I can't think of the word right now. Maybe if I can remember, I'll put it on the screen. But anyways, they I'm trying to think of the word still. We didn't use all of the scents and everything else for when my babies were little. Now that she's a teenager, she wants all the smelly stuff. But anyhow, we went to a naturopath. She had test results, the blood test results of all of the labs that we had run, and she asked a number of questions, and she also did muscle testing after she told us what she thought my daughter had. I will describe the muscle testing here, but she asked my daughter a few things about her joints, if her knees felt crunchy and gritty when they bent. Yes, and you could even feel like wiggling her kneecap, how gritty it felt. And she told her she has Lyme's. One of the labs that she had for Lyme's, which I had ran, I requested to have ran, was for Lyme's. All of the other autoimmune tests were negative. To look at a Lyme's test, I can't remember how many bands there are that you are supposedly supposed to react to. She reacted to a number of them, but the rheumatologist said that in order to have a positive Lyme diagnosis, you had to have so many bands that you reacted to. Because she didn't react to that many, he said that she didn't have Lyme's. Naturopath said she had Lyme's in the past and that her symptoms were exactly the same. And it wasn't just joints, it affects your whole body. And we don't ever remember her having a tick on her. There was a time this past summer that she came in and asked if she had what looked like a tick bite, but all of myself and my kids react so badly to any insect bite. We have a huge welt that appears, and what she showed me just looked like a welt to, could have been a mosquito or deer fly, horsefly. And we're trying to remember if she had this headache that lasted for, it was good like 3-4 days, no fever, just a headache that stayed the same, more, I guess, annoying than really painful. But I don't know if we couldn't remember if that headache was before or after this bite that she showed me. But the naturopath said that a lot of insects down here carry Lyme, not just ticks. And looking up that information online, it says that there haven't been any conclusive studies to prove that. Well, there aren't any conclusive studies. I'll probably lose some followers, and I really don't care. We don't have any conclusive studies that prove that autism is caused by vaccines either, right? So, take the information that you want and go with it. Naturopath explained that most people, if they're treated with antibiotics when they have a Lyme's diagnosis, within the first couple of months they're treated effectively. But once that bacteria has moved through the body, after more than a couple of months, they become resistant and harder to kill the bacteria in your body. And she said a lot of people who are treated with Lyme's after so long past the couple of months, they don't get rid of it entirely. So anyhow, I don't know if you know what biofilms are, but those bacteria build up biofilms. In the dental field, we were first introduced to biofilms, like, the slimy stuff that builds up in a dog bowl. That slimy material are microorganisms that build up a slimy wall, and it's found in tubing, like if you have refrigerator ice maker, that plastic tubing, the slime builds up in there. The same with a water dispenser in your refrigerator. That bacteria builds up in there. The dental field, they have tablets that have a chemical that breaks that down. I worked in a certain place where they put drops of bleach in it. Do you really want to have bleach, put in your mouth? Anyway, there's our clothing, everything, our food has so many chemicals in it. That's a whole nother, that's a whole nother YouTube video. It's not this Flosstube one. I'm sorry I'm going on a rant, but I'm really mad because I took those labs to her pediatrician, and her pediatrician is just like, I don't know who would even treat that. I suppose I could send this to an infectious disease doctor if you really want to pursue it, but since you're seeing a rheumatologist, let's just start there. Well, the rheumatologist didn't do anything. He doesn't agree that she has a Lyme's diagnosis. So anyway, to get back to the biofilms, those biofilms build up from the bacteria, and that has to be removed before the bacteria can be eradicated. So she's on a detox treatment for 2 weeks. She's 1 week into it, and then she will start the treatment for the bacteria itself. They're all plant-based, plant herbal based, and 1 week into it, you know what? Her joints aren't swollen anymore. She went running. She's been at work. She hasn't complained about pain. And that's something that another doctor couldn't give us, right? You can look, if you have no idea, naturopathic medicine is the muscle testing that I mentioned was done where my daughter was in a seated position. The practitioner was standing. If you happen to look it up on YouTube, I did. It's also called kinesiology, and some of the practitioners, they have their patients in a lying position when the muscle testing is done. Others have their patients standing, which I was told that's not a great way to do the testing. Anyways, if you didn't see it being done, it sounds like hocus pocus. And I'm not going to describe it just because, like, listening to what it is, how it's done, it does sound kind of unbelievable, but I watched it and there is no other explanation for what happened other than the way the naturopaths say it's supposed to happen. So with all of that, be your own advocate as a patient if you have something that's not getting treated effectively, if your loved one is not getting adequate treatment or the right answers. If you have something going on and you're taking a medication to treat certain symptoms but not get rid of the actual problem, like all of our pharmaceutical commercials say, if you take this drug, there's all these different side effects. So then you start taking another medication to counteract those side effects. America needs to do better. I think that we live in one of the greatest country in the world, but there are certain things that we could change to make it better, correct? Anyhow, I just I miss my doctors that I trusted back home. I have not found even I see a nurse practitioner for certain things, but I have not found like a general provider for myself here. If I have anything that needs to be addressed, I either take it to the nurse practitioner or I just go to urgent care if she's not in the office. The pediatrician that my daughter had, well, all my kids have been seeing, we won't be back there either. Anyhow, take care. Have a happy new year, and thank you for staying with me through this whole rant. If I get the thumbs down things, which you can still track that, or not track it, but you can check it. That's still a thing. It's not just all thumbs up. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I've been pretty, I don't know, I've made it pretty clear that I'm of Christian faith, and there's someone who has almost on every video given me a thumbs down, and I just kind of like to know why. The first or second video that I ever posted, I made a comment about my brother having to give up their dog. And I'm not going to get into that, but I received a comment that I deleted, and I still remember the username because I didn't know if that person would ever return, because they didn't comment on anything about my Flosstube. They just made a comment about the dog. So I don't know if it's maybe one of my kids' old friends, like not a good friend anymore, that watches this to give me the thumbs down. I'm just saying, I don't care about the thumbs down. I just kind of like to know why I'm getting the thumbs down. You can leave a comment let me know what the problem is, why you don't like it. If you just don't like the content, don't like my hair, you're more than welcome to let me know. I'm getting a call and that I need to take. So again, for like the 5th time, Happy New Year.